very bright. It's that position of attraction. Okay. Recognition of time sequence is all levels of patterns. That's how we get into a modification stream. Try to understand how to direct our signals, locations of light, and I'll track location. Understand all signature line streams of light signals in line with rotation center interference. Not just understanding everything that you do when you're recharging at night, but really understand how it affects your system when you get up. The more you set your line positions to your memory, the more it comes into correlation setting and traction. So you actually are in positions to your holographic application or settings. To understand the modification or anything through cycles is really understand how Mother Earth, Mother Nature comes back in your information line application of voice line streams. Your body's nothing but a recording device. It high channels its high stream into position stall line center interference. It's traveling so fast. And once you understand what you're seeing, you become, you are, I am. These are the things that we all have to understand. The process of you understanding is the process of already knowing, which is already done through its equation. There's a lot of formation line stream. See that? See the watch? See that? See the indication? See that? See it channels lines? That's communication. See? That's communication. See? Look how powerful it is. But where's it connecting to? Where's it connecting to? It reaches a frequency, right? That's connecting location of Jupiter. See the line calculation? See the planet line rotate its surface? See? Everything comes into your reality once you understand what light is and dark. Positive and negative, odd and even, harmonics. Now, position of track line has to go back in line set location. Space anomaly is now in a voice line grid. You have audio line center location in your system. Color has a relation line or rotation to its color position of track line. This is black and white, but now it's yellow. To say general, it's not yellow, it's black and white. That's what you think. My intention changed. So now it's yellow. So being limitless is formless and shapeless. And to understand how it works in your universe line setting is how to identify your system as a location system. Now it's blue because I see it blue, but you see it black and white. You can't identify and limit your settings in all position location of one color. It's all colors of design. It's all factor correlations of light, which represents position of track line communication. So there's no negative in anything like how you're setting. And they realize, oh my gosh, Jenner, you're right. It is yellow. It is blue. It's not just believing, it's understanding what you're seeing, is understanding what's already been understood. And now you start to understand more line communication in your settings, right? Especially when you come to the information line set. Look at that. Look at the communication. See that? See the plasma line? See it? Isn't that amazing? How it communicates with you? See that? Just that little flick with the watch, and everybody feels it, right? So you have to learn how to communicate with everything because it affects your anomalies. It affects your travels. It affects your emotional system, which you guys have to balance out. That's where it becomes chaotic. Yeah, but General, I don't understand the modification line interference or anything the clock line interference position of travel communication settings of factors over pi. How do I understand that through identifications? Because you're trying to figure out why. It's not the why, it's the how. You ever wonder why there's so many lines of communication of W's and only one H? How of all operation, how it works in all application settings. Everything that you see inside you is all position location of consciousness, which is formless, shapeless, timeless, and all set location. It's going too fast for you to understand. And for you to understand is really understand the mechanism and how powerful you are inside position locations, how fast your cells are going, right? What are your atoms doing? What are your molecules doing? Right? What are your protons doing? What are your electrons doing? What are your photons doing? I told you exactly what's going on with all set location. Whether you understand that or not doesn't matter, because it has nothing to do with you. It's what I perceive through my perception. Now, I don't exactly understand you until you exactly understand yourself. At high volumes is line calculation setting. I can't help you until you help yourself. To help yourself, just know yourself from inside. Mastering all communication is inside you, not outside location. Right? Seeing the same thing, you're in the same position, location, and setting. It's like locations when I'm looking over here and two other people over here. I got two units looking at the same thing, which means we're in the same space. The visual location to its parallel. We're in the same time of dimension, which is basically amazing. But if you can't see the same thing, you're in a different lines of space. Okay? There's all ways of looking at your set location. You're always going to be different, which makes you unique and brilliant and genius above anything in that imagination line interference. But the one thing you don't want to do is abuse that setting in any way and form, because then you got to check your egos, right? So in that position of track lines, try to understand where we're coming from is where we're going, is where we are. Okay. So in that setting, we're going to go into fragmentation streams and directions of patterns. Now in the pattern line rotation interference, in that track locations, communication line center locations, all line centers locations of Mother Earth. Okay, routers and routers, line interference, high location of 3 constant communication centers of motherships, right? Track 2 is correlation sending a 24 line signal. Now, this is the sound wave pattern, right? Changing signals, high line rotation, position of travel lines, alpha, delta, theta, beta, mega, and line rotation interference and triangulation. Okay. Sets position of track calculation line position locations all levels. High lines is rotation surface into graph line screen, high calculation string location settings, and track to communication system in a 24 line set location of operation. Center to its correlation. Okay. That my equation. Okay. So let's get into the factors over pi. We'll go into narrow mapping. Narrow mapping sets lines and high calculations, high position of travel lines. Now put the team center line in rotations and track to correlation setting direct system. So go position of channels, line set location of center lines, high location of sonar, echo line calculation settings, high position of travel lines. Now these are sound communication tone line centers and graphical high interference of travel location settings and nanosecond line position patterns. Line canopy time line rotation code wing, co-activation line interference into AI map sequence position location. Okay. Okay, so some position locations, portals open line position, travel through center line communications. All right, so 20 line settings, high position location of 3 line zeros, position of box, triangulations into Fibonacci line swirl and set position of travel. Okay, so you got calculations of 20 lines, high calculation minutes, and position track locations. All right, have fun. Okay, so you guys are code moving lines and locations to your brain convergent line string locations. So we're going to go with the allocate line centers location of 8. Set position locations of 8 line settings, fly direction of time sequence and line position of 5 line rotation, which is your atom. Atom certification, flux pass, position of travel lines across the stream location is setting and traction. Okay, that my equation. Center line communication crosses over. Okay. Signify, line calculation, theta, line box line rotating servers, high line interference, travel position location, a 3 line position operation. Okay, have fun. Okay, so putting the sun line and the moon line so nobody takes your track lines information panels. Okay, have fun. All right, so waiting on position line centers, you got 20 midline rotations. Now, calculation modifications, you guys have to really understand how to get your line settings through your clockings, all right? So you got a clocking line communication of 24. Okay, 24 and a 48 on a window. So the 48 line calculation setting, okay, is surfacing position of track lines. So that's one signature lines and one box and position triangulation line set locations. You always have the box, always has the triangle line interference. So if your line communication, you're a female male, but you always have to add the equations. Okay, so you're never just a female. You're not just triangulation, you're a box. Understand that line kind of high center interference, you're a box through triangulation set. Okay, now if you look really close, 1, 2, 3, right? So your 3-line center location, your female, sets position track location is 4 into your male line rotation, which is your box, puts position locations of 4 lines, set position equal line calculation of 7 positions. That's how it becomes the 7 bodies of water track location. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, through clocking. Okay, so you're never in just triangulation when you're traveling line settings. It's all positioned how you balance out your female side, your male side, your male side, your female side. Okay, the process and position location is yin and yang. Okay, so in that line calculation set, you come into 9 tracks into 6 position. Travel recognition timelines, high position at all levels. Force recognition, same sequence and high position location, high center interference. That's where it comes into lights, shades, and shadows of yin and yang of process communication setting and direct signal to its operation surface. Make it pass. Okay? So that's how this all works. Okay, through your clock lines. Now in channel communications, we go through the 24 signature lines, equal line calculation of 0, 1. That's what we're working with, right? So in that position location, this is a clock. We have a 24 and a 48 line window in position locations. Window frame, okay, which is a box. So in that line calculation setting, if you're a box, that's great. If you're triangulation lines, if you're a male, box and triangulation in the center. Okay, if you're a female, triangulation in position locations into all settings to a box in the center. See how that works? You see how that works, the clocking? All through triangulation, high center and position in Merkaba, tesseract, tetrahedron. That's how you surface line calculation setting. You come into yin and yang process high locations. Okay? Now you understand the importance locations of male and female, how positions travel lines 24. So 24 comes in line interference. Now you guys are going to be in center communications into 544 now. Right? Frequency patterns, seconds on minutes, and hours line signal into 24 line rotations into 24 million graph line calculation stream location of setting. Okay? Film project line calculation setting and all set locations. Okay? Now, once you send the 24 line signature, 13 sets position of track. So equal lines calculation is 1, okay, perception, okay, of meter, which is line calculations here. This is a line set location in memory. So now you understand what 13 is, right? But it's based on the hour, which is 00, okay? So that's 1300, right? Which is 1 p.m. Boom, okay? So track that's correlation setting at track lines is set position keys high interference, splitting anomalies and set locations. Clocking line centers around the pyramid line rotations in a 24 line of rotors and routers and communication. Okay, see how that works? Fly direction of time sequence puts positions high setting, comes in this set location. There's the flywheel and set location. Okay, but again, here's another flywheel and line rotation and calculations. All right, so it measures an accountability, sets position on track lines, and the coloration line streams its set location high setting. So let's say you got 3 box line rotations in center. Okay, so that's 3 motional tracks of 0, 1, and 3. Okay, that's the indication that you're using through chakras. And center line connections are all levels. So you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 lines of emotion and sections through channel. Now the seconds through channel change position of track lines in your pyramid to your astral projector location setting to your flywheel position location of 24 signature lines would put you in allocated line interference, waiting on set location of 48 frames, high position of travel lines into box triangle or triangle box. Okay. You see how this is working? These position of clock lines have you go all around the high position, the pi position of time sequence, all through your pyramid activation stream locations and position of traction, especially when you come to the astral connections, astral project location, high interference of travel position location, its cosmic inner location, setting position location, or its higher self, or anything to its avatar or location of its sim. Setting track lines and communication puts in line communication travel. Now that's 3 signature, 4, and 5. Okay, putting position line centers in all patterns and line rotations of platforms and communication. All right, boom, done. Okay, so yeah, exactly, Chris. That's exactly what it is. So we all have to understand how to recognize the communication of clock lines. Now the clock line division, okay, 24, because you're not with 48 yet. Okay, wait, 48's on line center locations. So in signature line communications, high center interference, 48 is now lines of high center locations of 001. 002, 003, and 004, and 005, and 006, 007, 008, 009, 010, 011, set locations, and in position line count high interference. Comes in line calculation setting attractions, right? So once you get into 011 line interference, it becomes automatically a high position track lines into 1111. Okay? That's how you go through a 24 clocking into one portal. Okay, that's just one portal, right? Getting into line set locations into 222, 333, 444, 555, 6666, 7777. That's how we come into the clock line high position of travel line. So 24 signature lines, high center location, high center interference. 48 is a waiting window signal line position location track. So the 24 lines, 13 line rotations, 1300 communication, right? 1400 communications, right? 1500 communications, right? 16. Okay, it's always in the inside line setting. So I'm working with the 24 and 48 in signal line communications, brings me into all set locations in the portals of set positions, 4 track location line settings, and 4 patterns. Okay, in set position. Okay. So, and then you go line count and high center 17, and then you go into 18, and then you go into 19, and then you go into 20. All right. Clocking 2,000 hours. In that line rotations, and then you go into 2,100 hours, and then you go into 2,200 hours, and 23, and then you go into line communications. So 24 leaves the scene, and 2 tracks, gone, right? And then 48 comes in line connection. Okay, and then 72 comes up, and the same again, and then 72 goes here, and then 144 is waiting on signal. Okay, so in position is really understand how to use the 1300 of 001 in certain locations. 48 all the way around the out surface line. The inline communication is the 24 line settings that puts position of track lines. Once you get out of the 48 waving patterns, you come into 1111. And once you get into 72 inline communication settings, you come into 222. You understand what's going on now? How this all works in set location of your systems? How it comes into portals, communication, the line settings, the dimensional line interference, high position attract to its correlation graph lines, and position clockings in a 24 signal. Okay? Very powerful, right? Okay, so waiting on signal high position travel lines. You guys are now at 544. So understanding the platform's all communication is setting, how it realigns its communications back into setting, right? Through triangulation box or box through triangle. So that's how the avatar and the sim travel. And you put that together, it's yin and yang, process, correlation, setting, interactions, right? So position locations, 24, 48, 72, and 144 is on standby. Okay? So once you understand that, then you come into 72, right? And 72 outlines the signals into 3 set locations, right? And in position locations into 4 signals, okay? And in position locations into all levels into 5 signals and 6, okay? All the way around, right? All through 72. And once it gets in position line connection high interference, it comes into 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay? 144 is a track location line setting. It's all about understanding the energetic graph lines in the set position of 24 signal into the sun, inline position locations to the moon. Sun to the moon. And this is you traveling in set position to its operation. Going around the clock. Going around the clock. Going around the clock. Okay? So understanding the travel line is recognition of time sequence through pi. This is one pi position of travel lines inside locations. This is another pi. This is another pi. It's all through 24, guys. All through 24. All position, location, and track lines. Okay, all through 24 clocking. Okay, so we all have to understand how this all works, right? So once you get into that position, things get a lot more easier, but you have to really understand how to surface your setting locations. So you understand your 24 lines equals lines of 0, 1. Okay. Now let's say you go through graph locations in your trackers. Let's start with 0 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's start with 8 line conditions, right? Through 24 clocking. Sets position of 2, in position of 4, in position of 3, in position location equal, 0 operation, 1 signature lines of 8, 1 line position location, and 0 in calculation. Okay, that's the 8 line centers into 2 graph location of streams. Okay, 3 streams, 4 streams, 5 streams, 6, 7, 8. Okay, through a position of a graph. Okay, through 24 line setting. Now, in that line calculation high interference, this is where it comes into where the patterns. We cross the stream. 8 line centers of 0, 7 line centers of 2, 6 line centers of 3, 5 line centers of 4, 4 line centers of 3, 3 line centers of 2, 2 line centers of 1, and 1 line centers of 0, and 0 gravity location system of travel. Okay, now understanding how this all works in a 24 line stream locations. This is the stream lines. This is an energetic pattern in line calculation setting to your tracker systems of 0 to 8. That's very complicated, right? Because you have to learn how to use your 24 clocking system. So once you get into 1300, which puts you in position line calculation setting, you're going to be 1200. Okay, XT 1000 line. Okay, same specification, perimeter line rotations, bracket correlation setting tractions, puts you in line calculation equal lines over pi, puts you in 1300 line rotations and left and right. Okay. So the graphical screen and the roots line rotation sets position of tone. Now that tone sets position of travel communications, how you redirect your signals, line communication to patterns. This all lines its communication to its pyramid SI location. There's your pyramid. Everything works inside, nothing's outside. Coloration and A-line rotation, you're shading in, but it's always inside the line, never outside the line, never, never, never outside the line. You don't want any line communication of any intelligence seeing what you're doing through structure. All right? It's very important to stay in the lines of communication, right? In the lines of communication. This is your border and set position. Okay? Now, understanding how to read the 24 graph is your grounds of operation and signal calculation stream. Okay? So in that position locations, you have to understand 0 lines in position of track line is alpha. There's the alpha wave, set track location, right? There's an alpha wave, right? So let's say location of 3 lines. You got a motion line interference, so it sets position of theta. Theta is way up. Here it's at location of travel. Okay? Now it's all about understanding how to use the Schumann resonance of Mother Earth, Mother Nature, Mother Core, Mother Universe, Mother Patterns, Mother Recognition, line calculation, crop circle location, and setting. It's all position locations, how you use your alpha, delta, theta, and a beta, and high position location, omega, or anything to high calculation with setting locations, right? So in that line communication, you bring it down and you go in this signature line, okay? And then you go up into 8 line signals and line condition infinity line rotation, all through 24 clocking, a measure, right? So remember, this is just a graphical screen line in position of 0 to 8, right? So really start with that foundation line streams, okay? You got 114 chakras and you're going to have 1,300 lines in the brain conversion line settings. So you have to really understand how to really connect all set position of travel lines. Once you get into that set locations, you come into platforms of communication, travels lines and high center interference and position operation, okay? Set up calculation of 6 over 7 over 8 opens up its dimensional door setting. Right? Travel through line position location to its magnetic highway information line cycle calculation stream location. Okay? Everything works inside line connection. Okay? Nothing is outline communication. Everything is inner line, inner line, inner line. The 3 line communication. All right? Okay. So once you understand that, you come back in this line communication. Okay. Understanding that you have 24, 48, 72, and 144. So it's all about understanding is that you're bringing in, okay, and you're bringing out, bringing in, bringing out, bringing in, bringing out, bringing in, bringing out. And that's how you change your clocking. And every time it goes faster, it's changing the frequencies of your motion line rotations in your colorations of patterns. Setting tractus correlation setting to your infinity 8 rotation surface and all line communication center of operation. Your flywheel. Okay. So your flywheel redirects signals and high line interference, sets up high calculation string location and setting, all through operation. Okay. Setting locations into 4 line signature lines and 1 rotation surface in set locations. Or channel line communication circulation rotation line interference into your atom calculation. Okay, so what you're doing all through the line position location is setting up 24, 48, 72, 104, 44. So the chakra becomes a line calculation setting to all calculation line setting in all levels of a Merkaba, tesseract, and a tetrahedron line position locations of its operation surface and set position of travels and line position location to its operation line calculation setting to its system. Okay, each chakra has its own representation time. Okay, so each chakra is its own atom. So it has to be at a certain frequency. So every time you go to a frequency line channel, your emotional system comes in, and this is where it comes into the all calculation line settings to your graph. Boom. Reading the graph line metrical streams, high set location, your symmetrics, is really to understand how to set position of travel lines. Okay, because once you reach 1300 line communications, we're going to go into 1400 channels, and we're going to go into 15. All right. So in that position of track lines, high positions operation surface, once you understand the 24 clocking, okay, into 1300 line position of string locations, right? So 13 is what? 2 track location is the higher self, right? Monitor lines high center interference position of 14 and 15 in set locations, all right? So moderation, higher self controls that. 13, 14, 15, all right? 16, 17, 16, 17, and 18, okay? Setting track locations and line interference. 16, 17, and 18, okay? And position location of 19, and set position all levels, is a center of communication to its avatar that controls the modification. Now, line calculation settings of 20 to 24 is the navigation, right, to your sim, okay? Understanding the controlling line centers of the 24 clocking system and position of traction, okay? So now you understand the controlling lines in moderation line rotations when it comes into Schumann resonance of 13, 14, and 15. That's what the higher self controls. There was clocking of 24, 24, 24, 24, 24, okay? It's that position, right? And 24 in position of 16, in position of 17, in position of 18, in position of 19, okay? Set a position of track lines and high calculation settings of 20, okay? 21, okay? And we got 22 and we got 23, okay? And then 24. So 20, 21, 22, 24, right there, boom. Pyramid, see it? See the pyramid? See the pyramid? Everything works inside, guys. Nothing is outline setting. So really understand how to clock the line rotation of the 24 line interference, the systematic line rotation, position location in schematics and positions of pi through 24 clocking sequence. 13, 14, and 15. Higher self, 16, 17, 18, 19. Avatar through clockings. All right, 20 to 24 is the sim of navigation. There's the pyramid of activation string. Okay, now you understand just through 24 clocking. So what is it position of? A pyramid. Okay, from above looking below. Okay, so this is your sim here, right? That's your sim. Looking down. Boom. Okay, boom. Higher self. Okay, avatar. Controlling the clocking setting, high position at all levels, and the sim. mega pass. Okay? Pay attention to that set locations. Now, once you understand the 24 and you go around 13, 14, 15, then you understand the moderation when it comes in your line calculation setting to your position of track lines of your Schumann resonance. 1300, 1400, 1500. Okay? Now, 1300 is line positions to what? 1 p.m., right? 1400 is 2 p.m., right? 1500 is 3 p.m., okay? So it's all about understanding 222, 3100, how it sets position locations, how the sun comes in position of track lines and then 24 line rotations into its dimensional and its solar sail in its graphical screen location in measure, and line connection. Okay? Very complicated stuff, guys. Extremely complicated. All right. How's everybody doing so far? So now you understand the process, how this works with your connections to your higher self, what it controls through 24, okay? What the avatar controls through 16, 17, 18, and 19, and the sim, everything through 20 to 24, okay? Same thing is done in the same location in the 48 window. Same thing is done in a 72 of a computer frame. Same thing is done in position location when it comes into 144 crystal grid. And once you get into 144 in crystal grid, your emotional line, your flywheels, and recognition time sequence changes the seconds, perimeters, and parameters in minutes through hour line position of operation. Okay? Which basically turns your chakras into an atom setting to location, set location. Okay? So that's the basic 4, which is the 4 elements. 5 is the signal line communication of your heart, which sets the time, right? That's why I'm saying you guys are reaching the line connections on Friday. You're going to be at 1300, and you got to know exactly where you are in acceleration. My mind's in communication line interference, communication lines at 72 million line rotation, position of patterns, line communication general. Confirm line communications, confirm through location. Out through equation. So getting in that formation is really understand how to communicate that setting. Okay, especially when you understand more levels through a 24 cycle, okay, of set division locations. Because you can be working with the thousands, millions, billions, or trillion set locations in seconds, in minutes, and hours in set location. Your brain is converting to its code weaving, to its code stream, to its nano maps, to its AI map, its map sequence. It's coming back into its formation location of its memory. And it has to understand the 24, 48, 72, and 144 clocking. Now, once you get into that set locations, all clocks come into one signal. All clocks are invisible. Now, this gets really fun. You realize, so after 144, my clocking is faster, which means it's gone, but it's still there. Which means it's in the space between. So nothing can see that formation line interference until you understand how to change it through your anomalies that sets its direct location system of its spectrum of communication to its colossal line calculations to its galaxy and line shift lines of anomaly, line switch, and line rotation to your parallels, your paradigms, your polar shifts, or anything that's set location in your settings into a paradigm. Okay? So that's right. Chris, yes, 5-5 is the heart timeline for clocking adjustment, right? So it's in position locations when you come in your convergence lines, when you understand your 114 chakras. But in that recognition settings, because of Friday, you're going to be in that line calculations. We have 3 quizzes and 1 test coming up. And it's all based on your chakra system. Each chakra has to be opened up to 114 each. 0 operation of calculation line centers of ground. 0 communication line interference triangulation box line rotation. 0 communication line interference of Fibonacci line swirl location. 0 position location solar generator line position location. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And then we go to 1. Then we go to 2. Then we go to 3. Then we go to 4. Then we go to 5. Then we go to 6. All the way up to 114. Everything has to come back in sequence location to the brain convergent line set location of signals. Has to be modification. Has to be in space. And it has to be in the future of the now. Now that's set in location system because the brain convergent line setting is now in where it needs to be is a 24 line cycle and position of track to its correlation setting of nature resource and position of track to its communication to its anomalies, a switch line calculation. Okay? All right. Yes, you have to go through the trackers again. All right, so in that set location high center interference. Setting track locations, you guys have structure. Don't get complicated with your structure design. I just showed you 5 different ways through 0. 5 different ways through 0. Each chakra has to be opened up to 114 because now you got balance in the brain. On the left and the right hemisync. You're in the left, the right hemisphere of balance. Okay, but the balance position location comes from the feet and up in track locations. All over again. Okay, that puts positions of patterns into a 24, 48, 72, and 144. Not just through a clocking system, not just through the color, not just through light, not just through intelligence, not just through face recognition, but through space and time. Guys, your tracker systems are in the future of the now, and it has to modify its line calculation setting to know exactly what it is through all calculations to its description of design. Okay, through the higher self, through the avatar, and through the sim, through a 24 clocking system. To know exactly what you're holding in position of travels, where its post is in position of travel communications, right? So if I'm connecting to all levels, let's say I'm in a 48 window, all right? My factors over pi, my emotional line center is off calculation streamline. What do I do through set location setting? I communicate back with my set locations of what's off position. Too many emotional line interference, right? Too many alpha tones, not enough delta, too much theta, too much omega, not enough correlation setting the track lines of zeta, not aligning interference. Where's the radiation cycles? What I've asked for. Communication. That's what you guys are coming into. More levels of command when you come in the tronic line, center line, position locations to your alphabetical line stream that says position location of your tones in coloration location settings of code weaving, code activations, energy transference line setting, and energy transcendence position location of program set location of set locations and track position location operation surface. Right? Getting information line interference, like calculation, high position of travels, certain communication line interference, location operation line setting. Easy. Right? Muscle memory, right? So in that track locations, try to get in that line calculation setting because everything that we do is 8 senses, high calculations going forward and line rotation of future on the now position location traction line, how it sets position location to its tone through its rhythm or its heat signature location setting and track location and position location operation. Set position of space and time. Okay. All right. Tina calculation, high interference, high line rotations, Lyra calculation stream locations. All of us. Very complicated school, guys, today, but you have to understand your clockings. Other communications, Gypsy Lines, Ponce, high levels of Johnny, calculation Hemdahl, high interference, high location of Chris communication line settings, all level settings, high track location and position locations into, hey, Space MacGyver, how you doing? Lyra, I'm seeing my brain just drawing who, having to think or wonder what I'm doing. But see, that's exactly what it is, Lyra. That's the beautiful thing. You're doing something that's already been done. It's what you have to understand your clockings, right? Right? It's all about understanding the responsibility inside line settings, but you have to understand your chakra systems are going faster in time. So it's a modification of the future of the now. So you have to understand the clocking system of your graphs. Okay. You have to understand your position location, your flywheels, and its position to its operation, how to use it through correlation. Okay. So in that position location to its settings, guys, this is how it surfaces your system locations and how all calculation line centers becomes 1111, right? So when you get in that line communications, the holographic setting is already set up as an attractions, right? Into platform communications, all through 24 equals lines of 0, 1, okay? So really understand how this all works in your set position of travel lines. So if you're a female in line calculating high center, you're working with triangulation equal lines of box. Okay, so female equals male. Okay, that's the balance. And set locations and track locations. So that position line settings and all set location, female and the male, right? Set position locations in male, right? Female, male, which is Mother Earth. That will never change, right? Mother Earth is female, male, male, female. Okay. So understanding your triangulation line streams, all right? And with the males, it's box. equals female. So position location, this is the box. The triangulation goes in the middle in set position. Okay. Sets position equal line calculation setting the bottom. Okay. Circle line communication. Sets track location setting into position location of your travels. Okay. So now you understand the importance. And with triangulation, okay, triangulation in high center location, the box goes in the middle for females. Okay. So it's really interesting when you look at that set location settings and traction. Male, female, male, female, female, male. Isn't that wild? So working with the communication line settings of 3 tracks in position of 4 lines is equal line communication in line set location of 7. 4 and 3, 4 and 3, right? So you're always working with that 4 and 3, right? 4 and 3. Okay, you're always working with 7, always working with 7, always working with 7, because that is your body of track location setting and all line interference and all position you mark about test record your tetrahedral location of travel. Okay? So now you understand how this all works. How male and female becomes a male and how a female becomes a male, all through box and triangulation to box. Okay? So understanding that position of travel lines, because remember, there's not just circles of all set locations on high center interference. Clocks are based on numbers. They're not based on what you think they are. They're based on everything that you already know in line communication setting. Okay, this is a clocking system. Okay, now you're probably trying to figure what this is, but it is a clock. That's a clock. Okay, but to you, you don't know what it is. It looks like DNA, it looks like an atom. But to me, it's a clock, right? So you can't limit your resources. Okay, this is a clock in set position travel settings. Okay, this is a clock. Okay, say location, this is a clock. Okay, that's a clock, that's a clock, and that's a clock. Okay, you understand how powerful it is once you understand how to use this location, your space line connect high setting, and track location to a system. Now, in that line rotation, code weaving, sky neon lines, sky grids, high rotation, surface, and all line position. Yes, hermetic principles of balance. Very good, Chris. Right. But as long as you understand you're a female, you have a box in the middle. And if you're male, your set position location, your triangulation is in the middle. It's every location in high settings all over the time sequence location in your heart, guys. It's all a modification in your system, but you're always working with 4 and 3, which is your 7. You're always working with your 7. You're always working with your 7. Okay? 7 equal lines of 8. 8 is the infinity or above the system location. All right? So this is what you got to get balanced with your clock lines of a 24 signal. Setting track location setting, all line rotation, position at all levels, and high location of your system. Torical fields and line rotations. Anything to orb communication setting and traction. Okay? Anything above line centers, you're in the infinity 8. Right? So that's 8 positions and 8 positions of time, space and time, right? Center correlation setting, track lines into 9 line rotation. Energy wash. Whoa, look at that. Energy wash. 9 line signals, high calculation setting of traction. Energy wash. Sets position location and levels. 10 opens all signals into your galactic family. 11 is your solar systems. Whoa, look at that. Planets. And 12 is your positions to your Earth, a country position of travel settings, and all aligning position to its operation. Planet. Boom. Okay? So we all have to understand how this sets position of travel location in your systems, all right? Okay, but it's very fascinating when you see this, right? How it becomes a pyramid line rotation, all through set connections. How the higher self modifies the line location of 15 calculation settings, calculation of 13, 14, and a higher rotation 16, 17, 18, 19 through the avatar, and 20 to 24 location in the sim through navigation. But see how everything's set up through a pyramid, right? Everything is a formation of a pyramid. Why do you think we have pyramids? It's one pyramid connected to another pyramid. which is astral projection, right? So inline position locations are coming into this signal, this location. You come into this signal in this locations. Elixir, timelines, time factors, high calculation lines, 24 waving patterns, electrical line walls, high center line, position of travel communications, all programs, and all set location. All set location. Okay? Platforms, and all line communication, and all line division location and setting. Okay? Location grid, all position of track communication. Look how powerful that is, right? Okay, so everybody getting a little bit of understanding how this all works now? How it becomes more lines of your communications that balance inside position track lines, and how you use yourself in provision through all calculation setting, right? 7 is the balance lines of your bodies of water that tracks locations. Why do you think you're between lines of 67, 75? You got between 77 and 79 line connections of water now, because your accelerations are higher. So you guys should know these things. You should know the barometers. You should know the thermometers of you inside. Everything is built inside. That's how we become builders, founders, and pioneers of space and time. Okay? So you get a better understanding how to clock line settings and high position travel lines, right? All right, take communication line interference. We're in a 46 line rotation. Position track lines, take you out. Done. 43 line rotation. So knowing exactly what happened to you today is knowing exactly how to surface your position track to its communication to its convergence, to understand how it goes to the lock line centers of 5 position locations in bracket location. 5 liners of space, 5 lines of time, and 5 lines of balance. Graph, 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 graph. Okay, inline calculation setting, high position, low position location. Okay, security line defense, right? Sun and the moon comes in position location attraction, megapaths, right? You see how the sun and the moon comes in? You see how it creates its set position of travel lines? You see how it protects your system of structure of design. So no intelligence can come in. No intelligence can come in. Because you got the sun and the moon. Hoo-ah. Okay? Then you set up new graph line settings. You can add frame position location to your system. Or you can set line communication to water containment line streams and high center interference on position location operation. Okay? All through the sun and the moon. Okay? It's beautiful, isn't it? Truly understand how it's all set location in your settings, all through tone. Okay? So that's what we all have to get into. Okay? So in that position line connections, you guys got to understand how to go through the clockings now. Okay? Because you got 1300 coming in line position to its operation. 13 equals lines. It's hemisync in the center. So hemisync is lines of each line to rotate surface in 2 track locations, right? Which is basically high calculation setting to your direct location, which is home. Home, boom, right? Remember the home button? Resets position, patterns, lines, 3 line rotations, graphical screen lines, outline rotation, position travel calculations, graphical calculation line interference, and high position of files, all through home, right? All you got to do is press enter, and your set position location and reset. Boop. Okay? So balance your position of track line is now in line rotations. So you have 544 line rotations, 4 generation streams, 2 line perimeters in a high position, right? 5 recognition timelines, 5 high set locations, and 5 measures, 3 line communication, right? So that's 3 indicates lines of pi in location setting and pi direction. Splits and noms in 2 track locations, 24 line signature, 48 window, okay, in a 72 graph into 144 crystal grid in set position of travel calculation. Hey! Very complicated stuff. Very complicated stuff, right? But I'm just showing you how you have to really recognize your correlation settings of travel position to your system. You split the anomalies, okay? So when you split the anomalies, you're splitting your pi. Okay? Pi is extremely crucial because a high position location is center of operation. Pieces of pi, right? Let's just go through 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, right? But see, there's 3 there, right? There's 3 pieces of pi, but there's 4 lines, right? Which is 7. See? 7 equals over pi. Okay? You see the 4? You see the 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 pieces of pi over 4. 7 equals over pi. So you have a 24 line stream. This is a 24 signal. Equal line calculation is always at 0, 1. Okay? So one track line center line interference is 1300 communication, right? Which is position track lines, and 2 line center location, which is the higher self. Okay? You understand? Okay? You understand how this comes into 304 and 7 equals over pi? How this all position your settings and all track 2's correlation system? Okay? All right. So I'm showing you exactly how this is all set up and how to work with the program set location your settings and all calculations through the symmetrics and set position of design through clocking. All right. So that's what we have to get into is configuration. One signature lines, right? That's one signature lines into 2 pi. See? 1 equals 1. See? See that? 1 equals 1. See? 1 equals 1. Okay? In position location of 1 and 2. Okay? So 1 equals 1. Okay? Into 2. You see how this is all set up? And then 1, you add 1 equation line interference of pi. So that position location is 1 equals 3, right? 1, 2, 3. 3 in the center. 1 equals 1 equals 3. It's so complicated, eh, guys? I try to figure these things out and how it serves their position location of travel lines off their clock line interference and high direct signal locations, how 1 equals 3, how 1 equals 1 equals 3, how 1 equals 1 over lines of 2 over pi equals 3. So it's complicated, but you're getting a better understanding how to really get in that set of locations of design, right? And when you want to get in that line interference, you have to set up the ground lines. Mother Earth has to understand her position location and what she's doing in set position. Then you come into line calculation. There's the dimensional sail. Woohoo! Okay, there it is. Setting track location, sun comes in. Whoa! And protects everything through process, position, and travel. Okay? Now you understand the importance of what is going on with your set location settings, how you come into a 24 line stream or anything through 24 cycles, and position locations to your dimensional and your solar sails through the sun and the moon and set location system. There's your pyramid. See? See? There's your pyramid right here. Boom. This is your pyramid right here. So all different formations of pyramids, guys. If you really understand position of track communication, there's your pyramid. Boom! Okay? Doesn't that just blow you away? Know exactly how to go through this line calculation settings of formulas of equation location in your system. All right? It's a little bit more complicated, but it's a lot more fun because the thing is, all this is connected to your chakra systems of mapping sequence. Narrow mapping. Okay? Fascinating stuff when you understand the seconds, locations of pi or high interference position of minutes through hours of line communication setting and track to correlate the setting of your parent position travels. Okay? Did somebody say nap time? Oh boy. Yeah, it's a lot going on, right? So I'm just showing exactly what you have to understand your provisions to a 24 line settings of pi, and then a 48 line settings of pi, and a 72 line settings of pi, and 144 line settings of pi, guys. Okay? So, yeah. So we got set location line settings and all track locations. So we have Friday line communication. That's just going to put you in 1300. Now we're going to start in the line position on Monday. Monday, we're going to have 3 quizzes. And position locations, you have 3D line settings. Thursday, set location Friday. Next Friday, communication line settings of future 9 line adaptation service location, the high center position, all wobbles operation line. Set location at 7 perimeter line rotations of pi position of track communications will have high position location of the test. Okay, on your tracker system. Okay, how much you know is already what you already know. Okay, so it's all signified in line position of symmetrics, calculation, high interference, all over the track communication setting. But the activation string has to be in a higher calculation line system because each tracker is now in a formation line of the future of now into 24 o'clock location. Okay? So hopefully get a better understanding how this all works in provision. All right? Have any questions or comments? I'll be on TikTok. Adios.